Hey guys, Zenek here again with another video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. In this video we're going to be talking about more the psychological aspects in games and in real life, and how we can use some tools to be able to basically essentially increase your win rate and increase how fast you're actually learning in game. So as the title of the video suggests, let's assume that uh, your win rate is 50% and of course your loss rate is about 50%, and that most of your losses are actually due to you getting frustrated and you raging, as opposed to you losing because of lack of skill. And we have to ask ourselves, why does that happen and how we can avoid it. So, for example, in the game that I play, which is Quake, a big situation is, let's say you're in control and you've been able to get control over about, let's say, a minute or so, and after that minute, someone telefrags you, which the game essentially just swings into your opponent's favor instantly, after you've basically worked so hard to do that. And when that situation occurs, it's really hard to not be able to get frustrated. And I think a lot of people will say the same thing, unless they're the most chill person you've ever met on the planet. But so we have to say, so what is that response really? So essentially, in very difficult or emergency situations, your body stops breathing, and or has difficulty breathing. And when it has difficulty breathing, you essentially flood your body with cortisol, because it's kind of saying, I'm in an emergency situation, I need to get frustrated, and that's what kind of cortisol does. Kind of puts you like in that little, um, how can it, like, more energized state. Or you even have the other response, which is to run away, and that's like where that anxiety comes from, where you feel like you're about to take actions, but you're not very confident with what your actions are. And even with what I just said, imagine you're trying to win a competitive game at a very high level, and your opponent notices that you're kind of experiencing those emotions. He'll just walk on top of you, and that's the end of that. And most of the time, you've lost the game before it's even finished. Um, so really, what's the solution to this problem? And I think many people have heard, the ideas of meditation and really what it can do. But I think it's done and dusted. A lot of people kind of disregard what that can really do for you in game. But like I said, we'll go over it again. I'll talk about like the results that I've had because I've done that. So in last year in 2016, I did a meditation camp, which went for 10 days, and I kind of went over these topics. And I also read this other book called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And I definitely recommend for people to go read that to get more in depth about this topic. And essentially, all the book is really stating is kind of saying to get out of your head. So when a situation like that happens, all you're doing is thinking of that negative situation over and over again. So let's say even in real life, if you don't like someone, you'll think like, I don't like this person, and you'll just keep repeating the same situation in your head and have the same negative feedback in your mind, and you just constantly walk around life feeling like just feeling terrible. And essentially, that's kind of what happens when you play Quake or games as well. If you have a negative situation that occurs, and you can't deny that getting telefragged is not a negative situation, um, then you're already setting yourself up to fail because you're not thinking about the other options that are available. So really what meditation is saying is just basically to shift your focus from your thoughts of where they are and more into your awareness. So this is a kind of like an abstract topic because it's saying, if you're obviously thinking about everything in your life, this kind of idea of awareness is a bit off. So awareness is saying, I realize that I'm breathing right now, but I can actually be aware of my breath without having to actually think that it's there. And when I do that, I'm actually putting myself in this moment. That's why a lot of Buddhist teachings talks about, being present and being right there at that time. So when you're not thinking about the negative feedback, you're actually saying, okay, I just died. What's the solution? I mean, even when I say that, it doesn't sound like it's like very impressive, but I guarantee that when you're in that situation, when the time comes, that seems like that seems more further away from your uh, thinking or your, quote unquote being than it really is. Um, so the more you do that, the more you'll be able to, think of a solution straight away. Um, instead of going that negative feedback cycle, you're focusing on your breath, or more importantly, focusing on how your body is feeling. And if you do that for about 10 seconds before your body gets overwhelmed with those feelings of anxiety, or that, that feeling of getting frustrated, then you'll kind of literally release that kind of feeling, and then you get back into the game. So if you start thinking about the game straight away and not address how you feel in your body, all of a sudden you'll just be playing that game with like that little bit of frustration. And if your opponent is more relaxed than you are, and you're about the very even skill, then it can be a really tough game to win. So it's something to really consider. So just uh, evaluating what we just talked about. When you're in a difficult situation, just become aware of your breath for about 10 seconds, or as long as you actually can, while you still have time to think about the game, and just be aware of your breath. And then if possible, actually just like, it's hard to describe, but kind of be aware of how you're feeling, like inside your chest or inside your body. And by doing that, you're literally releasing that kind of stress that you're feeling, and you'll be able to think more clearly and essentially think of more options that you'll be able to do in game. And I know for a fact that when I used to play Quake Live when I was 16, and I did not do these things, I was much more uh, frustrated. And you would see it if you watch the games. It'd be like the first 5 minutes would be fine, and then there'd be like a tipping point, and then it would just go straight down. And I know that's because I wasn't taking care of that situation, because my ego, my pride was too big for what was actually happening. But now when I'm in these situations, and trust me, it happens way more often at Quake Champions with the abilities, which is quite fun, but something to consider. Yeah, you could get into a little bit of trouble. And yeah, I think that's all for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to see more Quake content or more dual commentary, check out my stream at twitch.tv/ZenaQQL. And that's it. So yeah, thanks guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.